Hey everybody, today on Feathers Off-Road I'm taking the 890 out to explore some desert mountains. This is an area that I've explored a bit, but there are a million trails out here. I haven't been to this particular spot before, but this trail begins with a long, straight dirt road, which was great for practicing some wheelies I'll have at the end of the video. Sometimes exploring like this is pretty fun and uneventful, and other times it was like this day, where there were a lot of mistakes. So much about riding is practice. Go and get some training. I took that training from Chris Birch, which I've got videos on, but go get some training, whoever it's from, and then do that training 1,000 times. When I filmed this video, it was one of the first rides of the year for me. I shouldn't have started with unknown trails, and my overconfidence led to a bunch of mistakes. You'll see at least 2 decent crashes on this one. I wasn't hurt, but I messed up a bunch of parts on the bike that I later had to go fix, and that was on me for being overconfident at the beginning of the year. So let's take a look at the first drop of this day. Rocky. So how did I get into this position? Let's rewind to just before I dropped it. Alright, looking at the trail approaching the crash, you can see a few things. Up to this point, it had been a pretty wide trail of mostly gravel, sometimes rocks on one side or the other, but I was usually able to find a line. Just before the drop, the trail narrows and becomes almost complete rock. In real time, this was probably too much happening at once. No time to pick a good line because visibility was poor, the terrain rapidly changed into something more technical, and then add in some target fixation on these bigger rocks, and this made the recipe for the drop. Rocky. All right. I didn't break anything in this drop, luckily, so I continued up, weaving through the trails, looking for a way to get on top of this mountain. I found these like roller coaster like bumps, followed by pure rock trails like what I had encountered before. The difference in these rocks was they were a little more packed down from lots of people driving over them, and the visibility was pretty good here, so it wasn't like tight trees blocking me. I had a chance to pick a decent line through them. So what led to the second crash? That was stupid. Again, let's rewind and take a look. So before rewinding too much, I want to look at this scene for just a second and pause. There's a couple things that make this difficult. One, there's a huge rut hiding here somewhere in the middle of the trail. This tree is casting a pretty dynamic shadow over the trail. So it's hiding a lot of things. There's a little bit of a rut on the right-hand side. There's a deep river rut way out to the left. But that river rut cuts across right where the shadow ends. So in the moment, you're coming up on this, doing some high rate of speed. It hasn't been very rocky for a while. You're looking at this and everything's kind of hidden from view. I'll rewind further and we can watch it in real time. That was stupid. In the aftermath, let's see if I correctly identified how I got here. Well, it's pretty freaking wedged in this rut. And I'm tired from dropping it early. So Don't know what I'll do here. I am alone again. Probably just muscle it up with these guards and use the rest of my energy. Be done for the day, I guess. That was stupid. Coming in the middle, I thought this was going to be a lot deeper than it was. So I went to turn around it. I was going so fast that was stupid. I should have just ran right straight through it. Came, and then I was on the side hill rut and just slid. I can see it busted my stock guards finally. So I'll add that to the list, but my new windscreen has been working pretty well. Hasn't been damaged yet. So let's see if I can get this thing up. Okay. Got it up, didn't really want to film. Basically I grabbed the rear guard, rear hand grip, and the part of the handlebar and just muscled it up. And now I'm tired. But this is why exercise like a deadlift or something is so important. Anyway, that's up. Damage really isn't bad. Broke this stock thing finally. It was kind of just waiting for those to break before I got something new. Otherwise, everything looks pretty good. AXP skid has taken a beating since I've had it. Alright, I'll take a short rest and call it a day. Looks like I got some custom lever here now too. I broke this one on the way up, and looks like this one needs I mean, it's not too bad. I can get 2 fingers on it, on both. Maybe I'll just roll with it. Battle scars. Is there anything in common between these two drops? I thought about this question a lot while making this video. One thing they both had in common was very sudden changes in the trail. In the first case, a wide trail became narrow. It turned from gravel into rocks. In the second case, a smooth dirt trail became rutted, which was obscured by shadows. In both cases, I believe practice would have just helped. Boulders, slate, that stuff can be challenging to ride in no matter what. For me, the best thing to practice was balance. Learning where my body should be on the bike for what terrain has been a huge help. On that kind of terrain, also keeping the RPMs up. The bike wants to kill, there's not a lot of traction, you're moving really slowly, but keeping the RPMs up can really help with not killing the bike. In the second case, knowing the capabilities of the bike would have helped. It easily could have gone through that rut. As I said in the video while I was recording, if I'd have just plowed right through it, it would have been a total non-issue. My poor decision making in that moment led to that crash, which again comes back to my practice. Knowing what the bike could do would have been a great help to just know what I could go through. There should also be a comment somewhere in there about not doing an unknown trail as your first ride of the season, but that's a lesson learned for another day. I eventually decided that I had enough fun out here breaking my bike and my parts and my body. Called it a day. I tried to make my way home, but as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, there's always time for wheelie practice. I'm getting pretty decent at it on these big bikes. I can at least go 15-20 feet straight. I don't know if I'll ever get to the point where I can ride it out straight for miles like Chris Birch does, but I'll leave you with that to close out the video. So hope you can learn from my mistakes, do some practice, get out there, ride more, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. So until next time, enjoy the ride.